People watching.
All right. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Mine's going in and out. Poor connection.
That's it. Listen, man.
What's going on in now?
His
My phone,
phone.
my
His phone. He's recording with his
It's
phone.
just like the live thing is like going on, going off. It's a poor connection.
How come you
I'll
don't?
hook up
Why
the
don't you
Wi-Fi.
use the internet? That
Are you
got
using the
here?
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
SFX Mobile Studio. Maybe it's your
Yeah.
shitty phone.
No, it's SFX Studios.
Yeah.
Not mobile.
Oh,
Yo, what you doing?
Nah, not mobile. Mobile's the trash
I'm
one.
not sure. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it.
All right.
Mobile sucks.
Because I know you
Oh,
said that you whiz.
Yeah. I think we're gonna give it to AP.
Just go to SFX Studios.
Three
I'll
people
give you the
watching.
code.
Yeah, we haven't even gone. We're live yet not live.
We live.
Ready?
Yo,
Can-
we live?
Can somebody message us?
856-495.
Did
give-
you let everybody know?
Everybody on Facebook's gonna hear the password.
No, they're gonna
I mean, that's why I hate this.
The live thing?
Yeah.
Can anybody send us a message? Tell me if they can hear us, please.
And then, all right.
Can we just check by going on Facebook?
I guess we could, but that seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah, so Stone Cold, if you want to straight soil your pantaloons, son, you want to fast for 5 days, and then eat chorizo.
Oh,
and
okay, it's
eggs,
working.
fried.
Nice. Rick McCauley.
That's
sent us a message.
That's a way to you know what I mean, destroy your pantaloons. my G.
There we are.
There we are.
DJ Envy got us live.
Okay, all right, are we live?
We're getting the true audio.
True, the real.
The real. Yeah. That's two images. Everybody loved last week's angle. Doesn't make you look as like a giant, and I might be as big as you,
You might be bigger now.
He is a giant.
bro. Video adds about 10 pounds.
Yeah. How much did the gummy bear?
Y'all tell me when
Yo,
y'all
I want
ready.
cannolis, yo.
They're amazing.
Really?
Yo,
Yeah.
and you
You know
imagine
what?
this.
That's what I miss, son. I was like, dude, I miss cannolis.
This is, and he comes to me. He says, "I can't respect the palate of a guy that likes Hershey bars and sour gummies or
Sour
whatever."
Patch Kids.
Yo, he always wants to chop.
Yeah.
Sour
chop a-
Patch
Idiot.
Kids are
chop a
oddly
nigga in the neck,
addictive.
son. They
Two of the
they're
most
amazing.
successful
not-
candies of all
They're
time.
not oddly addictive. It's just sugar.
No, it's the fact that you put yourself through that pain
Yeah.
moment.
Right.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't like that. I have sophisticated
Yeah,
palate.
you're super
do.
sophisticated.
You do. Yo,
Yeah.
me and Andy were talking about how good that meal that he always brings up that Carnival meal.
Oh, the one he missed.
Yes.
I
That
was
made it
out.
better.
I was out with Jerry.
He was doing his thing. Chickens. With the chickens, son.
Are we up?
Yeah, we're waiting.
We're live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how-
Countdown.
This is just going on and on.
3, 2, 1.
This is the Ninja Rob Podcast with Marco Perazzo and Tim Carpenter. The podcast for the true martial artist.
Oh, I'm up.
Yes,
There we go.
Oh, you're
it's Tim show.
I'm running it.
Yeah.
I'm running the show. How you guys doing?
Can we? I just need to
Good,
throw
good.
throw this out there.
Hold on.
What's
I
up?
said I'm running the show. I asked you how you're doing. You got to
Yeah.
answer that
Yeah,
first
yeah,
before you.
I'm doing terribly
oh,
Okay.
Because-
Why are you doing terribly? What's wrong?
because we went to your in-home studio last
Nice.
week.
nice.
Number one, you lied to JB
You did.
about road
You
conditions.
did.
Number two, you bought the wrong microphone 4 months ago and didn't even realize till last week that it was the wrong microphone.
Yeah.
Our audio was terrible. You fired Devin on the show. I rehired him via Instagram,
Whoa.
right? And here we are back in studio.
But that was last week.
So
living in the
sounds
pa-
like now
I'm
you
living in
sounds
the
like now
past.
you're doing pretty good. So to answer my question again, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, it was just you two guys, right? Because for
Yeah.
some reason I was like, oh, maybe this is the wife cast or something.
I wanted.
like that.
I'd asked him. I said, "Hey, can we get your wife on?"
No.
Right.
Immediate. No,
World-
shut it right
gotcha.
down.
Worlds are colliding.
Yeah.
We can't have
Yeah,
worlds
he was.
colliding.
Yeah,
the way it has to happen, son.
yeah. He was none too
It's
happy about
inevitable.
that.
It's
Yeah.
inevitable. Remember that.
I was like, well, I wanted to get maybe a female's perspective.
Right.
Wow, we got.
Also, I wanted.
Ooh, watch
We
yourself.
got
This
that's
is
JB.
I wanted the world.
Right.
I just wanted the world to see what true chemistry was like if she was on the show with me.
Yeah. Show you, Timmy. He was showing you what it's all about, Playboy. Nice. what's up.
But I'm doing well.
All right, great. How about you, JB?
I'm all right. I shit myself this morning a few times. I pissed myself last night. There's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to get into that, but it's just very cold.
Yo,
Yeah.
I have a bone.
Anyway.
I have a bone to pick with him too.
from
last-
I
All right, go ahead.
set him up. Yo,
With
truck, watch, go see the guy.
yeah, and I did it.
Nothing. I go
Yo.
to the guy that
Find-
sold
find
it.
his
to
fee.
him.
Yo,
Yeah,
Finder's fee?
I go to the
Nah.
guy. He says you need a brokerage fee from the buyer. I said I need a percentage of the sale from the seller.
No.
Yeah,
That's,
I'm getting.
whoever's getting the bread. Nah, you
I'm getting twisted in the wind here.
Son, hey, yo, disrespectful. He's not giving you your Vic. I was going to hit him. I was like, yo, I get your man his Vic.
The
Son.
only guy I have
Son.
no bone to pick with is Devin.
Hey, listen.
He always consistently does right.
Always comes through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen,
See?
He's so reliable. That's what it is, son. It's your man sleepy over there. Come on, son.
Tim's
But,
trying to
yo.
run it live on Instagram, but it's chopped off about 4 different
Yo,
times.
we did a whole podcast. You was upstairs sleeping.
I know.
Come on, son. Come on,
I
son.
don't think Instagram's gonna happen today.
All right,
Yeah,
whatever. Goodness.
Listen, man.
Your Instagram failed us. This is why I really
This
push
is why-
for this to be
Yeah.
on Hellfish.
This is what happens when you let him you let him out do the operation.
So we got a lot of questions today.
Nice.
We got some
You
people.
spinning. Is that you spinning a bottle cap
Yeah, well.
that's screeching through the audio?
oh, okay.
Yeah, this guy. I'm looking like, what the fuck? I thought I'm over here hitting a gigamawatts and shit to see if I can fix it.
Listen, man, just hit the flux capacitor. That's right there, Devin.
Is that all the
Sorry.
show's going to be? Is questions?
I got in trouble.
We're going to talk about the fights first.
Okay.
We got
Fights tonight, right?
fights first. Yeah. There's 2 good fights and then an interesting fight.
Usman and
But
Burns.
I think this. Do you know
right?
who Macy Barber is?
Yes.
Female fighter.
Yes.
Yes.
What is she? Why do I know the name?
She was kind of like a prospect, a hot prospect.
She ain't fought in a while, right?
She got injured in her last. She blew her knee on her last fight.
Oh, okay.
So
'cause I ain't
she
seen
was
her.
Oh, is that the one? She did she fight the lady who was like a robot?
yes.
Yes.
Yes. And she was she was supposed to kill her.
I was gonna say
And then
that
that-
lady reminds me of. Yeah.
Temple Grandin.
No.
Oh, you
remind me of
talking about
George.
Roxanne Modafferi?
Yeah.
Remember George? Remind me of George. Nevertheless,
Rest in peace.
word.
George is dead, right?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
No, the one. Like,
Yeah. Timmy's arch nemesis.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's so she fought her, and then said, oh, she got beat.
She got fucked up.
She got fucked up. And then she was like, no, blew my knee out. They started
Yeah.
making excuses. After.
Yeah.
So she's coming back.
She's got her. She's fighting Alexa
Right.
Grasso, who I don't know who that is.
Was she a softball player before this? Is that what she?
Hey,
before this?
oh.
I don't know.
Okay. No, just.
She's only like 18 or something.
Oh,
Like
she gave me softball vibes. Go ahead.
that. And then we got Adolfo Viera versus Anthony Hernandez. Who you got?
I mean, I've never even heard of Anthony Hernandez.
His nickname is Fluffy.
That's
Nice.
that's usually not good for a fighter if your nickname is Fluffy. But Adolfo Viera,
Not Fluffy.
he's not fluffy. He's
Chiseled.
likely currently the most decorated jiu-jitsu fighter in the UFC,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Multiple time world champion, ADCC medals. Anthony Hernandez, don't know who he is.
I think he's a
Hold-
tough, scrappy dude, but I don't think he's.
Yeah, unless he comes out like
He looked like he from North Camden. I'm looking at him right
Uh-oh.
now. Look like a North Camden bull.
Porter Rich's brother.
Yeah.
hey-o.
And then Usman versus Burns.
So I was talking to somebody about it today. I know way more about Burns' jiu-jitsu career than I know about his MMA career. Oddly, because I
I
haven't
haven't really
been-
watched much MMA.
a little bit.
You don't.
Not enough.
Not enough to talk about.
You
Yeah.
so you agree with me?
Yeah, you don't know enough to talk about.
No. I don't watch enough. I know plenty.
How could you know if you don't watch?
I know.
You
plenty.
just said you don't know anything about the guy who's fighting.
I don't know
for the-
anything about the guy.
No, you know
I know-
Usman's jiu-jitsu career, but you don't
No,
know anything about him fighting.
Usman has
I
no
mean,
jiu-jitsu career. If you're going
Burns.
to insult me, get the insult correct.
Yeah, Burns.
Just be accurate with it.
Yeah, Burns.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about his fighting career.
How he isn't fighting.
You know this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I know.
That's how this
Yo,
works.
the camera's on, bro.
Son.
I shine when the camera's on.
Yo, I let your man. I shine brightest under the light, under the bright lights. You remember your man said that to us, man. Terminator.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Shout out to
Who you
him,
got?
yo. I miss you, son.
I think Usman is just mean, he's the champ. He's a champ for a reason. He's pasted most of the guys he's fought recently.
Pasted?
Pasted.
He's pasted. What do you mean by pasted?
Beat them up pretty easily.
Easily.
Yeah.
He won a bunch of like decisions of him leaning on guys on the fence.
Colby
Oh,
Covington was a
don't do
decision?
that. Don't say that, bro. That's not
already
true.
trying to
Except for-
minimize, yo.
That's not
Trying to
true,
minimize,
bro.
son.
Why are
It's
you
not.
intimidated by
Marty?
this Nigerian
Come on,
warrior?
bro.
I'm not.
Marty been beating ass.
No, you don't like Jolly
He
Price?
fucking
You fucking
crushed
racist.
Kobe Covington's fucking jaw.
Oh, that's the issue.
Jaw
Is his destruction of
on
the
the-
MAGA supporter
What's
now the Nigerian nightmare?
No.
He beat Jorge Masvidal's
Right, but
ass.
how did he beat him?
Who, Jorge?
Yeah.
He beat his ass, period.
By laying on the fence.
He
I'm
beat
just,
his ass.
no, I'm just saying
Did he win?
Usman's. This is so
What's
it's not,
Usman's
it's-
record?
it's not
He
me saying
ended the
this.
career pretty much.
Tyron? Tyron?
Yes. It looked like Tyron
No, because
just
who did he fight after that? And
he
after-
lost after that, I believe.
Yeah, so that's the guy that I think.
No,
ended his
that's what I'm
career.
saying. No, he
But
just
he's
somehow
like
he was
17 and
mentally
1, right?
defeated.
What's
It was
that?
already over
One
before that.
defeat for
I don't know if he has any. I think he's undefeated, isn't he? Usman?
I
if
don't know
Usman's
about that.
undefeated, then you would have to put him in the same boat as your man Khabib.
No,
Why
what
not?
are you talking about?
Undefeated.
Because he's not as dominant.
That's
He
a
hasn't-
fact.
He hasn't done it.
That's a fact.
Okay, this is the problem having a conversation with a guy that has never watched MMA is that he thinks that
So you
just
know what
because
the-
a guy
so-
has an
so
undefeated record.
Here's the funny part: is I cornered you for 99% of your MMA career, and you're right.
Those are the
I've
He has
never-
one,
and
he
I've
has
never
one
watched
defeat. He has
MMA.
one defeat. He has one defeat.
Okay,
He
he's
has
got one defeat.
All right,
so he's
so-
and even if he
and you
didn't,
didn't even know.
even if he didn't have a defeat.
So him being undefeated, because you said that about Khabib, like he's undefeated. He's the
Okay,
greatest of all
okay.
time.
So I was undefeated for 7 fights. That does not put me
Yeah,
in
but
the
I
same
mean-
category of an undefeated guy who's been undefeated his entire career and retired as
So
the
if you're
champion.
17-0, your undefeated career is much better than 7-0. Correct? Okay. All right. Thank
but
you.
nowhere near 29-0.
Okay.
So he's not in the same category as Khabib.
If
Even
you were,
without a loss. Even without a loss.
If he were undefeated and he were 18-0 and the champion had defended it 3 times, how many times has Khabib defended his belt?
A million. I don't know.
Not a million.
Several.
3.
3.
Same amount as Usman.
I guess you're
very,
right.
very dominant against people that dominate other people.
Right.
That's the difference. Is he took superstars and treated them like children.
We're talking about Khabib. Yeah.
Khabib, yes.
yeah. But one of
But
the
he
points-
also did that to your boy Jorge Masvidal. That you had a lot of you were sold the Kool-Aid on
I get so
Jorge.
I buy the Kool-Aid all the time.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
So who you
I
got?
love buying
So
the
you got
Kool-Aid.
you got Usman.
Bro.
I think so. Yeah.
Who you got?
I hear Burns has got a big right hand though. He drops a lot of people, from what I hear.
Well,
Is Burns? Can I ask some questions
so
about
nobody in here knows anything
First
about
off,
who's fighting. except for- except for me and
yes,
Devin.
yes. So the number one, their training partner.
Used to be.
Okay.
Used to be.
Yeah. Like so, these motherfuckers.
Usman's out
What's Burns'
training with
record? Who's
Trevor
younger?
Whitman.
Who's younger and what's Burns' record?
I don't know because the guy's Brazilian, so you don't know. if
Burns
he's
got like a couple losses,
Couple
2,
losses.
3. He probably got 3 losses.
So if you watch,
I think
his-
he's 19 and 3.
Is Brazilian?
Burns is Brazilian.
Burns
Burns-
19.
yeah.
Burns is 19 and 3, and then he's 17 and 1.
He's related to George Burns.
Hey, man.
Come
man,
on.
you're right.
Love it. I love
You're
it.
on fire. When it comes
When it comes to that
Yeah.
MMA information.
Hey, I like your pun. Burns
Yo,
fire. I guess.
Listen,
I'll go
who
with
knows of George Burns besides us? We're old as
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
We are. I'll go with Usman. I'll go with Usman. I don't know
Nah, I
enough
think
about it, though. I'm
Usman
just
is
getting-
definitely going to get him. I don't think it's going to be that easy or simple,
So like
especially
Gilbert,
with somebody that got that many rounds
Yeah,
in.
Burns-
Burns
Burns
did the
stayed-
exact same thing to Tyron that Usman did.
So let me,
Might have been more dominant.
is
He-
Burns on his way up? Would you say
this
in
is-
your
yeah,
opinion?
he's at the peak of his career right now.
Right, but he's not like the new prospect guy coming up on,
I don't
on
think
the rise.
I don't think Burns has got what it takes to beat Usman.
Okay.
I think Burns is really good, but I just think Usman's,
So my
Usman is special.
Yeah.
my MMA prediction, you agree with?
yes.
So that's odd because I don't know anything about
Yeah, I
MMA.
mean the 2 guys that never watch fights. Actually, he watches way more than you do. He knows more about it.
So you guys-
but you know
what-
what? To his point though, I've heard Marco and I have talked about reading about the fights afterwards.
Huh.
If we haven't seen them, but I try to catch every one afterwards.
Yeah, you get other people's opinions on the fight instead of having your own. That's cool.
Yeah, you think reading can't
Yeah,
tell you
you're-
what
you're
you
I don't
really-
know.
Nah,
so-
reading never helped anybody.
Well, no. See, Marco's a great lawyer.
No, what it is the way these guys do it. It's just a fight breakdown.
Play by play.
It's a
still
play-
it's
like,
still through
color
the-
comments.
it's
Still
you're
watching
getting
how-
it through the eyes of somebody
Listen,
else.
I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong because most of the stuff you say is.
I don't agree with
but
you. I just don't
I'm
want to agree
saying
with
that of course.
Yo,
it
why
is.
do you not want to agree with me? This is
Son,
when I'm right,
I may
I'm
not
right.
be right,
If he agrees,
But you're always wrong.
but you're always
if
wrong.
he
Oh, man,
agrees,
think
then you win.
Thinking
son.
about my dad every day. Papa. Apparently, his only loss is to Jorge Caceres.
Who's that?
Talk
Usman.
about Usman.
Who the
We
fuck?
got this through the live chat. See, this is the beauty of what's going
Son,
on.
they could-
How's
yo,
your Instagram working?
It's not.
It's not, okay.
Oh, he got submitted by Jorge Caceres. Who's
Yeah.
Jorge Caceres? I never heard of him.
It
Whatever.
could have been
You must
early
not
on.
watch enough.
And Khabib was never
MMA.
submitted.
No,
by
he
anybody.
wasn't. No.
Mm.
And he's still undefeated.
All right.
And
go on to-
retired.
Yo,
let's
were
go
all
on.
29 of those fights in the UFC? No.
No, no.
Okay.
Could probably
He
half
fought
of
Bears in Smusherstan, right?
Come
Dagestan.
on, son.
No, it's not Smusherstan.
All right.
There's a lot of those stands, son. There's
So Tim, how hard
So-
did you
so
work on
listen-
this week's show?
Real hard. Look at all these
Yeah.
questions I had to.
So you post,
Compile.
you made a
Yeah.
post, and then you
Well, no, I
printed.
didn't just post. I posted and then I what do you call it? Compiled the questions.
No. What did when you
I
work?
put them onto a
What do they
paper.
call that when you work at a at a museum? You curated
Oh,
this week's
okay.
show.
Curated. Yeah, got all these questions together and then.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be amazing.
Unlike you, I didn't.
I didn't want.
I didn't spend 6 hours watching Formula One so I could talk about it on a MMA podcast.
All right, hey, I have interests outside of the things that I do for a
clearly
living.
you don't watch MMA, which is what the podcast is basically
Oh,
about.
this is an MMA podcast.
It's a martial
It's a
arts
mixed
podcast.
martial arts podcast or a martial arts podcast.
Both.
Okay, all right.
That's fair.
I mean, we talk about mixed martial arts more than
I think you're showing off for the camera. I think you're upset at how everybody feels like the way I get away with
I'm
how
upset about
How I
how
treat
I'm
you?
correct.
I treat you.
Yeah.
And this is paper. I'll take it. Your show.
All right, let's get on to the questions because we have so many, we might not be able to get to all of them. First one's from NJ.
He's
And
saying,
NJ,
like,
NJ sent in like 10 questions, so we might. I'm gonna go through one of his first one first, and if
See if
we
we have
have
enough
time
time.
at the end, yeah. So his first one is, who's your favorite man? And for such a smart guy, a Yale educated man, he can barely type a coherent sentence.
wow.
So this is his question.
This
Who's
is
your,
the great
just a-
part. I
not just
really
a-
appreciate how you treat your friends.
Look at that.
who's,
And yo, your man's a stone cold doctor, son. Like you just said,
like
like he
MD.
went to Yale. Like
Yeah.
that's that. Now your man's like
So you do two things. Today you're doing really good on the mic.
Mhm.
You're doing terrible on the camera.
what, you leaning to the side.
oh, sorry.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, lean
Yeah.
down.
Let the people see you, son.
Yeah,
I'm
come on.
like, so I got the
They wanna
nerve
see
pain. I
that.
gotta find myself. in
Oh,
Nah,
okay.
they want to see that
Stop the pain.
Dave, your fucking David Letterman hairdo.
Where?
NJ can't write.
Yeah,
So this is his
Really
question.
Fucking,
This
The
is
guy
it.
that's an MD can't write.
this
That's
Yale
that's-
dummy.
that's cute.
What's up, Yale dummy?
Who's your favorite UFC? One KO artist. No, it makes sense. Now you let me finish before you laugh at NJ's writing.
Before you set the joke up again.
Tricknology. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yakubian devil, you.
What are you guys talking?
Yo, you get that watch I sent you, by the way.
Yo.
Maybe we should start doing the podcast back at my place.
At least you wouldn't have to leave.
This is just
Yeah.
when it snows.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo, shout out to your wife, man. I really did want to come. I had
Yeah,
wine
you
and
missed
everything.
out on a great meal.
Very
I
nice.
wanted
Man.
to.
She's a wonderful person.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Man, this guy, he gets a text and it's like a shiny object. He can't. The focus is amazing.
I'm gonna take a nap until.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna take a nap and let Timmy do his thing.
All right. Who's your favorite UFC KO artist, technical fighter, BJJ black belt, personality, and commentator?
Jesus.
One of each.
God.
KO artist first. We'll go around the room.
Favorite UFC or MMA?
UFC.
UFC. Favorite KO artist?
He's black.
Rumble Johnson?
Well, no. It's your favorite, not his favorite.
Right.
I don't. Yeah.
You choose. You don't have to always go by the opinions of other people.
Ngannou.
It's okay for you to. It's
Ngannou.
okay for you to have your own opinions.
Okay. Yeah, I can't pass.
Rampage. Quentin Rampage Jackson.
UFC KO artist. I don't think he had that many KOs in the UFC.
All right,
he had
listen,
them
bro,
pre
bro.
UFC.
Okay,
Listen,
my
listen.
favorite UFC KO
No,
artist.
you passed. You passed.
I
you
passed to
No,
come back.
Nope.
Gabriel Gonzaga.
Because of the way he got knocked out.
Because of what he did to Crow Cup.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think that counts as a KO artist.
Well,
You know what it is? Because I'm just taking the question and thinking of it in a different way. Like
Right.
one of my favorite KOs is watching Rampage knock out Chuck Liddell.
Okay.
Just one of my
That
favorite
counts.
ones. So
All right, Marco's is terrible. Yours is
Who do you think is the
Um,
damn son? I like how you snuffed us, but then you ain't got nothing to
I'm
say.
thinking
Yeah,
about it.
Get
I'm
it
thinking
together,
about it.
son.
And he had access to the
Yo, you
questions too.
for real?
Oh, so you want to get pre-rehearsed answers like he does. Like he comes in with his speeches written out, so he can bloviate through the entire show.
Listen, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Listen, Marco hasn't left to go to the bathroom at all, so I don't know what you're talking about. Bloviate.
And Ngannou might be.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of KO artists in general. Like I like the next guys, technical fighters, more than a KO artist.
I guess a good question is like, what are some of your the most memorable KOs that you remember? Like, yo, because when your man Rashad Evans got taken out
By Machida.
ooh, son.
Yeah.
Machida's had some good ones, but I would say Ngannou might be my favorite. He seems to be the most dangerous guy I've ever seen, more than Rumble Johnson. Like, I think Ngannou is.
Didn't
Yes,
DC
sir.
knock out Stipe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, they
too.
both knocked each other out.
And the Black Beast did a nice one too when he fucking did that.
Who?
That's my
The
number
one
two.
he did. Who?
Yeah,
Who was it? He was fighting.
but
my number two.
he's
He was
he
losing
comes
in
up
that one.
later. All right, so who's yours? KO artist.
Ngannou.
Ngannou. All right. Technical fighter. Go around the room.
George St. Pierre.
I'll pass. You come back.
No.
Okay.
You answer whenever you want, because how's he going to stop you?
That's a good one. Technical fighter. I'll pass.
Blessed Holloway.
I would argue against him only just for a couple reasons. Just maybe
I'd
one.
like to hear it. I'd like to hear the
Well,
arguments.
Well, are you gonna say yours
So like
first?
George St. Pierre is, if you were to make the video
It's
game,
just
right?
his favorite.
No. He
It's
he
not-
is.
You're going
he
to argue
is,
against
but
his
also
opinion.
his striking was one of the tops when he used it. His wrestling, maybe the best in MMA. His ground and pound when he used it was amazing. Submission skills. So he had this, like from a technical standpoint of each domain that covers MMA. I haven't seen, in the limited amount of times that I've seen Holloway fight, I haven't really seen him express an offensive ground game.
So Holloway, takedown defense, ridiculous. So he doesn't.
I've never seen him taken down, except McGregor took him down years ago.
His
That was it.
takedown defense is ridiculous, so you never see it. His boxing skills
That-
is probably the fucking
Right.
best. I mean, I couldn't believe that Poirier beat him the fuck up the way he did.
Yeah.
But the way he came back, the last fight that he fought, he was like the best him that ever happened. So when I watch this, if he had more power, he'd be unfucked with.
And I'm not saying he's not amazing. What I'm just saying is, like, from a prototypical, like, technical standpoint, there's some things that I haven't seen out of him to be able to make
His
a
kicks are
judgment.
good too. He just doesn't need them.
I think mine's going to be Peter Yan.
Petter?
Peter. Yeah, Peter.
BJ Penn, by the way. There you go.
That's yours, guy?
Yeah.
I would have at one point said BJ, but not
Yeah.
anymore.
Well,
What-
that's why, because I'm still over there.
I would put him in the most talented, not the most technical.
Okay.
Most talented. Peter Yan, I think he seems to be like GSP, only far more like dynamic.
Okay.
Like the takedowns, he hits stuff that, like, it looks crazy. His striking's on another level. GSP's was very like utilitarian.
Yes.
Peter Yan is like playing with people
Okay. I can,
on the feet, on the ground, takedowns, everything. He's just like,
you know what's
destroying
interesting too is I thought George St. Pierre earlier in his career was actually a lot more dominant in some aspects of fighting against. Maybe it might have been the competition he was against too that allowed him to be that
people.
dominant.
He was also one of the first guys to actually put the skills together.
yeah, the grapple
Not many,
boxing.
and
yeah.
still most people don't put the skills together. But that's another thing that Holloway doesn't mix things up. GSP mixed things up. John Jones mixed things up.
And I would have
Peter
thought
Yan mixed
John,
things up.
like my John Jones, like I could put John Jones in there because he can submit you, he can knock you out, he can take you down. It's hard to take him down. Like he's
like he's a more dynamic fighter than GSP.
For
Like,
sure.
he'll do spinning
Yeah.
elbows.
But he's in the, like, that's like GOAT talk. Like,
they're both in GOAT talk.
yeah.
All
okay.
GSP's.
It's all GOAT talk.
Yeah.
Like, I think we,
But
framing them in
I would go John Jones over GSP only because of the couple losses that GSP had. That one loss against Matt Serra, I know it was a big outlier, but he should have never lost that. That was, the next fight really
So you
showed.
change your answer.
No.
Okay. GSP still the number
So
one.
yeah, I think so.
All right. Who's your number one BJJ black belt?
In the
UFC.
UFC ever. Royce Gracie.
I wanted to say BJ Penn again, but
You can.
I don't know. I thought I was gonna say Damian Maya because
Yeah, good for sure.
I think
Say
Damian
that too.
Maya.
Damian Maya.
T City.
Brian Ortega. Okay.
I'm going with T City.
All right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Murillo Bustamante.
Old school. I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
He was gonna be my technical guy, but then
He
because he was like, if you watch he only was really a boxer, but his boxing was like so crisp and sharp. Didn't look like he was like putting much into it, but he would still knock people out.
but he
And his
also
ground game was just super tight and precise.
so he's almost like two evolutions past Hoist.
Yeah.
Right. In the sense of like jujitsu and almost using jujitsu exclusively, like his boxing typically would lead him into
Yeah.
his jujitsu, but it was good enough where if he needed to
And
get
he
into
could
a
wrestle. He took Matt Linland down.
no, for sure. So that's what I mean. He's that
Yeah.
like that second degree progression. He's like Hoist's great grandson with athleticism, striking, and takedowns.
Yeah, Bustamante would be my.
Yeah. But for me, it's Hoist just because of like he literally laid the groundwork.
UFC personality. So this is like, doesn't have to be the best fighter, but like
Right.
the one you enjoy, or it could be like a
Rampage.
Rampage.
Yeah, I thought Rampage was great.
Conor McGregor.
No,
No?
fucking no. The brothers. My
Oh.
man's oh
No,
shit.
not the Diaz brother.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Nate over Nick.
Nate over Nick, yes.
Nate's the bigger one, right?
No, Nate's the little
Yeah,
brother.
but
Okay.
I think Nate is just copying Nick.
He's fucking hilarious.
Nick-
Yo,
Nick
so but
Cage.
like so when I think about personality, I almost think it's like people are fabricating a little bit of who they are. I don't see that with the Diaz brothers.
No,
I see
nah,
those.
they-
you ever
100%
see
real, those
you ever
guys
see
don't
the
act.
meme of their class picture
that's
of all
them.
little kids?
Yeah, they're like,
Oh, really?
It's no, but it's one that's like this. And it says,
Yeah.
guess which kid is Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Nah,
I mean,
that's
he's
100%.
like
That's
this,
who they
bro.
are.
Bro,
That's
I
who
mean,
they
I'm
are.
talking about they're like in like third grade,
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, that's about
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Now the Diaz brothers,
Stockton, son. That's
they'll-
what they
they'll
do
fight you
over there,
wherever.
son. Nah,
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah, they jumped
like-
somebody in a hospital, bro.
Yo,
They
yeah.
jumped the fighter, bro.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been talking shit. That's why. You get
they didn't even talk shit.
Yo, it's a-
I think he walked up to say, "Hey man, good fight," and they were like,
They jumped.
Yeah, they were like,
still,
"Fuck you."
They were still in the
yeah,
fight.
yeah, yeah.
No, but he was at the hospital, so he'd be fine. He's already there.
Right.
Yeah, he said he thought that Nate was gonna come
Shake hands.
and like help him because Nick started fighting him in there and then they started jumping
that's
him.
Not, that's not how those
That's what
brothers get
nah,
down.
Not at all. Because no, that's all you got. But I love the thing I like about McGregor is like that, and I've seen him. Like I was in Madison Square Garden when he beat Alvarez, and
He's the
just
most
that.
charismatic.
Come
fighter.
on, son. And when the music comes on with the 50 cents, I got money comes on. He comes in with the swag.
Yeah, and he handled
ahead of
himself great in the whole Floyd Mayweather buildup.
Right.
Like
Great.
he went toe for toe, or maybe even
Son.
won.
No, he
Won
won
the
that
previous-
hands
yes,
down.
yes,
Floyd
yes.
didn't know what to do
Yo,
except
nah,
knock him
Floyd,
out.
Floyd
Yeah,
laughed
yeah,
the
right.
entire time.
Right.
Floyd
Had it been a
they looked like
proper
they had
fight, it
great
would have been
time.
different.
If you see some of the old clips, you'll see Floyd. They laughing. Yo, they had I think
Weren't
from
they on the-
Dana White
Weren't
to
they
all of them,
flying
they
around
all
in a
had,
private jet
they
together?
all had a great time. That must have been
Next to him, who do you think got it? Next to, if you're talking about that kind of style, next to McGregor, who you think got it?
There isn't anybody.
I don't
Nah,
think
it's
that- yeah,
the
that's-
African kid. It's the
Yeah.
African
Oh,
kid.
Adesanya. Yeah.
The
yeah.
more
Yeah.
money
Yeah,
he gets, bro,
yeah,
the
yeah.
more
He's from,
money
I
he
think he's
gets,
from New
he's going to
Zealand.
be
Yeah.
out.
he is-
Yeah.
but he is
He's from New
But
Zealand.
he's
all of
Nigerian,
them.
right?
But he's Nigerian. He's going to be fucking
Yeah.
crazy
I
when he
don't
gets
think-
money.
We'll see. Because
He doesn't
I think
have the-
McGregor has love and some hate. Like I don't know if he has hate yet. And
Adesanya?
yeah.
Got plenty.
Yeah,
of
he
Yeah?
does.
Yeah.
I mean, this motherfucker's dancing like Chris Brown on the
Yeah,
way.
but
Like,
he's
for
not,
real, though.
I've seen him. I know
He's
what
not
doing,
brash enough though. He's
Yeah.
too respectful of his
It's coming.
opponents.
He is very
No, it's
respectful.
coming. It's
Yeah.
That's what I said. The
He
more
needs that.
money that he gets, the
Yeah.
higher he gets. He's
Well, the
going to
more
be
if
an
he
asshole.
starts doing it, he might make even more money. Like Timmy's boy.
Kobe Covington.
Yeah, like he's like a heel. He decided to be a heel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's yell out
Yeah.
white power and shit.
whatever he does, man. Yeah.
Hey, whatever works.
I'm gonna say Black Beast. Derek Lewis, my favorite personality.
That's a good one,
Yeah.
bro.
Yep.
My
Funny
balls
He's
is
very
hot.
He's the
raw.
most.
Funny as hell.
He's like one of the most unique.
Yes.
He's super funny. He's got a
Hilarious.
great like a story of his life. You know what I mean? He's
That's really him.
you know,
Was he
and
the
his
guy that
probably he
changed
probably
tires at
has.
Sam's?
What's that?
He looks like it.
Was he the tire guy at
I
Sam's?
don't know.
I
Or
don't
was
know.
another one? That was the other guy. The other
Oh.
big black dude with the.
Oh,
remember
Tire
him?
guy.
He was a tire guy at Sam's. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know
I
about
don't
that.
All
know.
right. Go ahead.
But I forget what it was.
No, but
Yeah,
he's
it
he's
wasn't.
he's
Oh,
real.
his
He's
post-fight interviews are like almost every one becomes like a meme. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then
That's why
Definitely.
if there was a boxing match, you got to get McGregor versus Adrian Broner. I promise you.
is an
the
Adrian
sh-
Broner in jail right now?
The shit talk, he could be.
Right.
No, the shit talk Adrian Broner does is ridiculous too. He's a super asshole.
Yeah.
It's a
He's-
shame what he's done to his own career.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in jail because he I think he owed somebody some money.
Is he really in jail?
Yeah, so I mean, he might not be now, he might have got out, but he owed people money and then he was trying to claim bankruptcy, but then he was like on
Stunting.
Instagram
Stunting.
posting pictures of him like
Oh,
counting money and like and then commentator.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care to answer that one.
Damn.
For the UFC, I don't really care about the commentators.
That's a
Yeah,
shame.
I know. Hey,
It's because he doesn't watch it.
Yeah.
How about
No,
you?
just the UFC though. I was
Yeah.
gonna say the other guy.
Michael Chavello.
Is that the guy? Like, good night,
Yeah.
Irene. That guy.
Yeah.
He gives me
He's the best.
gold
Yeah.
vibes. He gives me
Really?
that kind of
For me,
vibe.
it
He's
would
the best
be
commentator.
the original China. The
Oh, no,
original.
you didn't care.
I
Oh, you're
like
you
right.
didn't care.
I didn't.
I like that.
And
What
I
was
still don't.
What was the guy that was there and then now they got rid of him? Mike Goldberg.
Mike
Goldie,
Goldberg.
Goldie, yeah.
Goldie. That's him. That's my guy.
It's tough for me because I want to say Joe Rogan, right? I do want to say Joe Rogan, but I actually really enjoy having ex heavyweight champion there,
DC.
DC.
DC's awesome.
I like DC because DC is speaking from a GOAT almost standpoint. So
I mean, he's
Joe
Yeah,
Rogan's
at
always
the right
been
hand of the GOAT.
So like Joe Rogan originally was the sort of like technical guy, like
Right.
but he's never fought like MMA. He trains jujitsu and he's
seems
the
got
like-
problem with
Joe
Joe
Rogan
Rogan
seems
is
like
he
the famous-
carries jujitsu's water.
Yes.
You know,
So
like
that-
he can never get away from
That's
the
it.
jujitsu aspect of everything, which we're well past that.
And he
in the
just
UFC.
seemed like a famous fan at first. That's how he came off. to me.
Right.
yeah.
He's a technician when it
But
comes to his
his memory for it
jujitsu.
is
I'm
it's
sure.
He's
Well,
actually
that's his
he's
By
job.
the
really
way,
good
That's
at
his
Joe,
job.
if Joe ever wants us on the show, that's fine. I mean, I have no problem with that.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure about that.
I'm gonna go Jim Brown.
Wow.
Jim Brown, number one of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
UFC 2 or
One and
UFC
two.
1 through 5.
really the best.
One no,
ever
1 through
did it.
6. 1 through 6.
Legendary.
Because
Yeah.
he really didn't like Tank Abbott's attitude.
Don't you ever say
Nah.
that about a wrestler. He is a wrestler. He's a ground attack specialist. Jeff Blotnick held his own against him, though.
Nice.
Jeff Blatnick like submitted like a little girl against him. What are you talking about? All right, that's it for that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Then we
NJ,
got
NJ, thanks for that terrible question.
Four fucking questions.
Yeah,
NJ.
I know.
he's got more, but we're
Yeah.
not gonna get to those till later.
Fucking yeah.
Well, a four-parter.
We got one from She Slay.
She sent in 3 as well, right?
Yeah, but I think we're
What?
only gonna get to one.
Okay.
Slay, I hope your herpes is okay.
Oh.
Excited for Gordon versus Roberto. Roberto competes against anyone. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah, so we were talking about this last week about who is the true like prodigy or next
This is
up and coming.
against Gordon, not
Let me finish.
okay.
I'm gonna start talking again. You want to jump in now or later?
Listen.
So Gordon's gonna win. I think probably easily. Hernandez. I don't understand the fear of taking a grappling match against Gordon Ryan. When I say I don't understand the fear, and if it was an MMA fight and you tell me, hey, Marco, you have to fight Anderson Silva in his prime.
Mhm.
Oh man, I don't know if my brain could take that. But if they were to tell me at the same time, hey, Marco, you have a grappling match against Gordon Ryan, yeah, for sure. Like there's no real issue. Number one, because you see that Gordon Ryan respects the tap. Like I've seen him not crank stuff on
Does
people.
it
when-
actually like very nicely. He'll like
Yeah.
hold people. Hey,
you want to tap here. So I don't understand why people wouldn't take a match with him out of fear. I don't get the fear of what he can do to you because he hasn't seemed to hurt anybody on
I
purpose.
was afraid of him.
What's that?
Who's afraid of him?
Well, he's always talking about nobody wants to take a match with him. That's the difficulty he has is no one wants to have a
Well,
match
he
with him.
says, I think the main thing is, except for Galval, wants a lot of money.
Which, did you see the latest that Galval put out that he wants $1 million
He's been
for
saying
the
that
super fight?
for like
It's out
over
of
a
his
year.
mind.
And then other guys just that don't agree on the rules.
But if you're an up and coming grappler,
Up and coming, yeah, I think.
or even if you're an established grappler, like what?
So like a guy like Felipe Pena, who's beat him twice.
Well, he's got no
So
reason.
he has all the bargaining chips. So if Gordon wants a match,
He's got.
he has all the
Agreed.
negotiating power.
But everybody other than Felipe Pena
Right.
should be like, yeah, I'll take the match. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's their Floyd Mayweather match for them.
If anybody is excited about this match, I think you should get a subscription to Flow Grappling and watch the video of them rolling, and you will lose all excitement because you can see what's going to happen.
And good for him, man. It's like maybe he's gotten a little bit better.
It's also that was training, and this is going to be competition, so it could be different. But if you watch the video, like Gordon's like letting him take his back, put him in arm bars, and just getting out, and then submitting him like over and over. And within 5 minutes, I think he submits him like 4 or 5 times.
Gordon is clearly the #1 no-gi guy in the world by far. Even with those 2 losses to Felipe Pena, because they're, with every day that goes by, they're even further and further away. Right. But Hernandez, at some point, if he keeps going like this and maybe you add some pieces to his game or his arsenal, the ability to deal with, the leg lock game better and better and better, he likely has a bigger upside than anybody.
He could be the next Gordon.
Yeah.
I think Gordon said that. He said he reminds me of myself a few years
Yeah, it
ago.
doesn't remind him of Nikki. It reminds him of himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so Sheasley got a couple others, but we're not going to get to them. This next one's from Joe Morgan, student at Hellfish.
Oh, I thought maybe it was the old Atlanta Brave.
I don't think it is.
All right.
What are your thoughts on if the UFC added some kickboxing / Muay Thai events throughout the fight cards, similar to what One Championship does currently, or how Bellator had the kickboxing events? Do you think it would build the UFC and bring more attention to those striking sports in America, or do you think it would diminish the foundation of the original UFC events built by having different styles go up against each other?
So I think it would be great for boxing. It would be great for Muay Thai as sports in this country if the UFC carried legitimate, like high-level fights. I don't think they'll ever do it. I don't think they ever need to do it. I don't think there's a need for it.
Please don't.
Yeah, I think it would just diminish the UFC.
I think it hurts MMA. It helps Muay Thai and boxing because of how like the crossover effect that it could
I think
have.
what would happen is if you had, let's say you had a UFC kickboxing or Muay Thai event, and you had the events on the same show, and then you had like this devastating UFC kickboxing champion, and then everybody would want to be like, oh, you should jump in the UFC. Then he jumps in the UFC, probably get destroyed by
Yes.
a mid-level MMA fighter.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. But I think with its component parts of MMA, right, where most of the fans are just seeing this as one sport, right? They don't realize that there's transitional pieces that these guys work their boxing, they work their wrestling, these kinds of things, where it could put some shine on there. But that's what I think UFC Fight Pass is for.
Yeah. Because UFC Fight Pass has tons of glory,
where
has,
the true dyed-in-the-wool fan can go find good high-level striking arts.
It has a lot of bullshit on there too.
Yeah.
It's the more they did deals where they gave like
They need
part
to
of their
fill the content
material
up.
to ESPN. They start putting kung fu movies on there and shit. Like
Really?
literal, yes,
yeah.
yes, they're full of shit. And I think that have you ever tried to watch boxing and UFC and skip channels back and forth?
No.
It is
You can't-
horrible.
You can't
It's
go
horrible.
from UFC to boxing. Boxing is so boring.
I
that.
promise you, it's so boring. My friends are they're casuals, but they're like, yo, next time we watch boxing, bro, you can't turn that UFC shit on because it fucks up the boxing. Like that, they was like down there watching it. It just looks like a pillow fight afterwards, man.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's been one of the big issues with boxing is that on the undercard is usually terrible, right? Where in the UFC you might have some bad fights, but there's always something interesting that's going on, even on an undercard MMA UFC event.
Yes, 2 people you never heard of will give you an amazing fight.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is from Steve Wilson, Hellfish Black Belt.
I got the assist on that.
After seeing Fallon Fox's recent win, what is your view on Fox competing in the women's division?
Shouldn't happen.
Stop, God. Come
It's
on,
hard
son.
to acknowledge the physical advantages. Even at the age of 45, where no fighter is at a high level, Fox is dominating the competition. Would you let your fighter take a match against Fox?
Real
Did
quick.
he say it's hard to acknowledge?
It's hard not to acknowledge.
okay.
I apologize.
But B.Y. Jennings posted something earlier today.
Who's B.Y. Jennings?
B.Y. Jennings? He's a boxing
Oh, okay.
champion. Yeah,
All right.
boxing champion. But Texas lawmakers introduced bill to ban biological males from women's sports. I personally salute it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have a tough time. So we were talking about this the other day. Track and field. All right, look, I have a daughter. If you tell me she's going to run the 100-yard, I don't care who she's running the 100-yard dash against. Right. So in the sense of
Safety. Yeah,
Correct.
because homie went from rank 378 to being the number one woman in the world, right?
Different, right? But if she says, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to do a grappling match against a boy," I think at a certain point we can let that happen, and then at a certain age, maybe there's some
blows now.
There's a safety issue with grappling, right? Where we maybe as we go higher up, but it's less dangerous than MMA. If my daughter decides that she wants to be an MMA fighter and she gets offered a fight against someone who at one point in their life was a biological male and is now transitioned to female, I'm not going to let that fight happen no matter what.
I hear you, bro.
Yeah, I've done a complete 180 on this. I think they should let men fight women anytime, especially someone as brave as Fallon Fox that cut off her own cock, and then
Yo, this
You know what I
dude
mean?
is
Hey, you know what it is, man? You gotta you're staking your claim. You lost your president.
He-
Now you
he
get it.
crushed somebody's skull. Come
Two
on.
skull
Yeah,
fractures.
look.
I heard.
Men and women 100% equal. Equal,
Such an asshole.
equal rights, equal
Fights.
I got it.
Equal rights, equal fights.
Yeah,
I like
this is
it.
his
All right.
experiment to prove a different
No,
point.
I think it's great.
He's
I
a-
see
he's
what's
a-
going on.
And the live chat is the live stream is suffering. We're down to 6 people now after you
What?
said that.
No, I think it's great. I think they should have more men enter the women's division. All sports.
Yeah, I like
You should just get rid of women's sports in general. Why discriminate between the sexes? It's only cultural anyway. The only reason women can't compete with men is because they've been told since they were little that they're not as strong.
Are you having a
So
daughter?
if we just
He's on some bullshit.
all we have to do is have some men beat the shit out of a couple women, and then women they'll step their game up.
yo.
It's only gonna make women's MMA
If
better.
you're really trying
They'll
to get the
step their
Ninja
bone
Rob
density up.
podcast on like the front page of Yahoo News,
Yeah,
I think
this
he's
is
doing
it.
it.
Yo,
This is
this
it.
is
I
This
think-
is
I
our
think-
moment.
We
You think
going
they should just
viral.
step their bone density up? Just step it
Hey.
up?
No, that'll happen with time. Yeah, as long as
Yeah, whatever.
no, I think it's great. And salute to Fallon Fox.
I don't. For some reason, I don't think you mean it.
Yo,
Nah,
at one
man.
point, did he say as courageous as? Did he
Yeah,
say
yeah,
courageous
yeah.
or brave? You said brave. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Yo,
She
so
used the right
so
word.
listen, I saw this on a stand-up comedy as a woman named Sam J on Netflix. If you watch it when you leave here, you will be crying the whole time because she's a butch female
Mhm.
that talks about her life before and after. And she said her people always ask her gay or things of the alphabet people questions. And one of the questions was, if you see a woman getting beat up by a trans woman,
It's just a woman.
that's what. So right. So do you help?
No, of course not. I mean, I might help the so-called trans woman.
So called.
Yeah, I mean, they've been, after all that they've been through, it's the least that we can do to help them. You know?
By the way, the views expressed are Tim Carpenter's alone, not of the Ninja Rock.
So you guys,
Juliana.
you guys don't support trans rights or
Ooh.
trans people? In
Yo, I
general?
like how you did that.
Yeah.
White man wordplay.
Yeah.
Look
Yo,
at that.
trick
Look at that.
That's what
knowledge,
you guys-
Trick
trick
son. You see
knowledge.
that?
I had no idea you guys were so transphobic.
First off, you have to be scared for something to be
Ooh.
phobic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There has to
It
be.
sounds like
there
you
has to
guys
be-
are scared of
has to be-
trans
No, it has to be a fear involved.
things becoming equal.
Just for the record, I haven't said anything about it.
But you haven't said anything for about 20 minutes
Yeah,
now. So
yeah,
you're,
yeah.
you're busy on your everything okay
Trying
on
to
your
get
phone?
this jacket. I want to buy this jacket. I need another one.
You're in the moment.
No, definitely.
So I guess the room is split. You guys are discriminating against trans.
I have
No,
no,
that-
I have
look,
spoken in no
I-
way
I
against
have-
trans.
I have no
I'm
problem if-
discriminating.
no,
I
no.
am discriminating. I want to be clear.
So your thing is just you think it's okay for trans women to compete in any sport except for
As
fighting.
long as everybody else, like, so in fighting, I'm not in just in fighting my daughter. Right? Because if there's another human woman that wants to fight Fallon Fox and knows,
Are you
the
saying
dangers-
that trans women are not human?
No, I'm just saying.
Are
like
you
a human?
dehumanizing?
No, I'm rehumanizing.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that my loved one, I don't want them, regardless of their skill level or ability to fight. I think it's too big of a battle.
Why?
I just think that there's some advantages that Fallon Fox has over a biologically born woman
So you
in a
think
combat sport. Let me finish.
all,
But if
not
a-
all women.
If another woman wants to fight Fallon Fox and she's fully aware and she goes in eyes wide open, she should be able to.
So you support. You're on the same page as me. You support Fallon Fox and you think she's brave.
I didn't say that either.
I
You're putting
support.
words in my
I
mouth.
support women so much, right? I support women so much that I don't want us as a male agenda to step in the realms where we start taking things away from our women. Our women sit there, they got their things that they want to win, they want to compete. I don't want me personally.
So now you're saying
no,
that-
listen. So
Wait.
now I'm saying.
Let me check the chat. Let me
I
see if his-
shouldn't be able to.
Let me see if his girlfriend's
I-
in the chat.
I shouldn't be able to announce that I am now a woman because that's all it takes, right? So we have to be educated on this. It's not about chopping your cock off. If I say I identify,
By the way, guys, you fillet it, you split
okay,
it.
but
Yeah.
but that's
Turn it
what
inside
Tim
out,
said. If I say I what do you call that? I recognize myself or I
Identify.
I
as.
identify as a woman in that community, it is official that I am a woman. I should not be able to say I identify as a woman and then punch a female in the face and people say that it's equal. That's just
That
my stance.
Sounds like hate speech to me.
Wow.
So you're saying
yo,
you understand that trans women are women.
So this is where we get tricky. Look at this devil. look at him. Look at the trick. Listen, his tricknology is crazy.
It's
Listen,
wordplay,
I see.
man.
Listen, man, I understand the pitfalls of this verbiage. You know what I'm saying? I see what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to trick me down this.
I'm not.
down this
I think
path.
it's very clear
Yeah.
how you guys feel
I
about trans
think-
people.
Well, at the
I
end
just
of
want
the
to
day,
say
like,
that I am not on the same page as any of the hate mongers in the room.
I'm on the
First of
page
all,
of safety for
I'm
all.
not I am not a hate monger. I haven't.
But
I
you
haven't made any
understand that by
comments about
not
it.
recognizing a trans woman's humanity,
No,
that you are going to cause her to
Hey,
commit
at some point-
suicide.
I don't think that's what the question was.
Are we?
No.
I thought we were a martial arts podcast. What happened?
We're talking about
yeah.
I don't think there's any more
I've never
important
seen
issue
Fallon
in.
Fox fight.
Joe
Let me just say
Rogan's
that. I don't know
opinion
what-
is a very straightforward.
He's another trans.
What's he say? He says no.
Hate speech.
Absolutely
He
not.
says hate
Okay.
speech. All right,
Joe,
moving
by the
on.
way, if you ever want any of us from the Ninja Rob podcast on your show, just throwing it out there. We're available.
Any one of us.
Yes.
Next one is from an anonymous 265-pound black belt.
Okay. All right.
All right, it says, my jiu-jitsu style has always been very playful. Although I'm on the larger side and most small teens and women may be fearful at first, they soon recognize that my style lends itself to technique over aggression and proper positioning over brute force. While competing is something I'd like to do when the appropriate level of skill is achieved, I've never been one to press the intensity during training. If my sparring partners turn up the dial, it's always welcome. If they flow, so do I. Lately, I've had some partners who have turned up the dial. While the intent is always welcome and even makes matches more enjoyable, there are two ways this is done. To make it analogous to something Marco enjoys, one can be described as precision driving in a Formula One race car. The other can be described as a demolition derby. For a higher ranking student whose physical capabilities are on the upper end of the spectrum, how would you suggest handling the unsafe matches? I sincerely enjoy the friendships of all my teammates, but I have strong urges to Hulk smash those whose knuckles find their way into my eye sockets and accidental palm strikes paint the tissues in my bathroom various shades of crimson. Sincerely, an anonymous 265-pound black.
So I've trained with this fellow before, and I think maybe two or three times, and he is truly intimidating figure. And when I say figure, like He walks into a room and you go, who shaved the gorilla? Like he's built like this, he's got the hands, everything. You talk to him, super nice, right? So he's disarming when you kind of chat with him. And when you train with him, he is not exaggerating any part of this question that he's posing, because I've trained with him and I know when guys are technical and I know when they're not. And for as big and as scary as he is, it's likely that's how technical his jiu-jitsu is on the other side of it. What I will say to him is that people just get intimidated. They're either intimidated by the belt, or they're intimidated by his figure, or they're intimidated by that both of these things are coming at them. So his job is to protect himself at all times, and whatever that takes. So if he has to smash this person, he smashes them. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. So I don't think he's ever probably, like, if he rolls with me the same way he rolls with everybody else, that it would likely be the other person's issue if something happens.
You got any advice, JB?
Just communicate with your partner, with whoever you're going with, or if not, just always match their energy. That's all. Like that's a tough spot. That's what happens sometimes when you roll with people. You catch an elbow to the grill, depending on their style. Like I remember rolling with guys that they had like the mufflers, they'd cover your mouth, that whole thing. Yeah, and when that happens, I'm like, no. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna say something. Like, nah, we're not doing that. So communicate, and then
Yeah, I agree. Match the intensity.
Match the
and then
intensity.
for handling, for this like an unsafe match, sometimes it can be good to just completely like shut the person down and smother them for like the entire round. Just like hold them in place, like grind on their face, but not with like your elbows or hands, just like shoulder pressure. Don't let them move. Make them feel completely helpless. Sometimes that can calm somebody down. And then sometimes you just have to destroy them.
But could this be because the school that he's at has an upcoming competition, and maybe the guys are just
No, I mean it could be, but I don't think that's the case. I think there's some guys that just no matter what, they don't have. Some people are like, he's talked about it before, fine motor skills and gross motor skills. So like, and I relate it to like a chimpanzee. Like a chimpanzee, like a human can do something like build a cell phone, like can do very like intricate small things. So see how he's just kind of playing with his cell phone very gently.
Yes.
If you gave a cell phone to a chimp and you told him and taught it to press, it would just crush the entire phone. So some people don't have control over themselves. Like they don't have control over the intensity. Where
so oddly, he looks like he would be a chimpanzee, grab you and
but
smash
he has
you.
an insane amount of motor control over his muscles. But a lot of people don't. It's either like they crush something or they do nothing.
Right.
So, and you also, like, once you know that, you have to understand what you're getting into. So if it's somebody at your gym that is always kind of like hitting you and stuff on a day that you're not in the mood for it, don't do it. Just avoid them. And I've had people ask, like, how do you avoid somebody? And I say, you don't avoid them. You just always line your training partners up at least one ahead of time. So if they go to ask you, you're like, nah, I'm going with him next. I got him next. You always have your next guy lined up.
Yeah. All right, so maybe you could have an excuse you could
also just say no.
Exactly. Yeah. I think, and that sometimes sends a bigger message than saying, oh, sorry, I have this, I'm training with Devin next, where I'll be like, somebody comes up, no, I'm not training with you today, is what I'll say.
Okay.
How come? I don't feel like dealing with what you're putting out there.
I've done that before. And I also sometimes when I didn't need a hip, when I would wrestle, shout
out your old hip.
Shout out to my current hip, who will one day be my old hip. I would do 2 matches, and the first one I'd try to gauge the way this person rolls. And then the second one, I would just turn and say, listen, this one's going to be different. Okay. And then that's when I would raise the level up. So,
next one from Jordan Kelly, or one of our most loyal listeners. Ask great questions. What makes Gordon Ryan so dominant, and who has the ability to beat him?
Yeah, it seems like Gordon has come to this, the right guy for him as an instructor in John Danaher. And no one has even come close to the level of success that Gordon has come to through Danaher's kind of system. I think that's one of the reasons is he found the guy that he can relate to, believe in wholeheartedly, and the guy that can maximize everything that Gordon's capable of. Looking at Gordon now, I don't see anybody coming up that I would say, man, this guy in the near future might be able to beat Gordon.
I think what makes him so dominant is it's just, I think the biggest determining factor in a lot of these things, especially at like a high level, is the mindset of the person. And his mindset is that he can beat everybody.
And he's maniacally competitive.
That's another thing, is being competitive and being on. He's always on the attack, and it's like assume that he's going to win. Like he's going in there. He's not trying something with the hopes that it works. He's doing everything he does with just the confidence and the expectation that it's going to work.
Everybody at ADCC is tip of the spear, no-gi grappling. Right.
Some are probably a lot stronger and faster than him.
Right. But maybe even just a differentiator in there is how the differentiator between Craig Jones and Gordon Ryan. Because I think from looking at jiu-jitsu, I'd rather watch Craig Jones when he's doing his stuff than watch Gordon Ryan. Just because I think he exhibits it a little bit more smoothly than how Gordon exhibits it. Yeah, you could frown all you want, but that's my opinion, right? But however, is an opinion strange. You just
That one's very strange.
all right. Anyway, but I think that the level of competitive mindset, right? Like if you'd say who's Gordon Ryan is analogous to Tom Brady. He's analogous to Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. That's, everything he probably does. You're walking to the corner store. He wants to be the first guy through the door. I don't think everybody at ADCC has that.
And I think I agree. It's his mindset, and I think it's his attention to detail, which I think that probably comes from Danaher. Is like every move is like honed to like the sharpest point it can get, and then you apply that to a guy that's like young, big, and strong, and supremely confident.
Yeah.
And
very well conditioned. Yeah.
So I think overall it's his mindset. When you take all the other things out, like he's not doing any techniques that are nobody else knows. Nothing he's doing that people don't know.
Or they haven't made a video about.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So yep, that's it.
Do you think there's anybody coming up that might is close to beating him? Or anybody that exists?
I would like to see him versus Kynan.
Again?
Yeah.
Because he beat Kynan at Nogi Worlds.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
He beat Kynan at the
he beat him one time.
Pans.
He beat him one time at Pans. That's it.
Okay.
So and it was a close match until the end.
Okay.
So
yeah, I don't think Kynan has.
I think almost definitely Gordon would win, but I still want to see it again.
Okay.
Because those, I think.
But
those
the question
is
who do you think is close to beating him? Isn't it
him?
Okay.
But I still think Gordon.
I don't think
but
he's even that close.
I mean, you don't really watch this stuff, so.
I don't watch MMA. I watch a ton of jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
go
yeah?
ahead. Yeah.
You didn't even know which tournament he won.
Not fanboy, but go ahead.
Of Craig Jones, you are.
I think he expresses his jiu-jitsu in a much more artistic way than most no-gi grapplers. Yes.
All right. This is anonymous. To T or not to T? This is his background. I'm in my mid-40s, training BJJ for over a decade, and a BJJ competitor for the past 10 years. Recently, as of 2-3 months ago, I've noticed that I'm exerting a lot more energy and effort for rolls than in previous years. I've always been in shape, but lately it's harder to maintain a high level of performance. I took a blood test to see if everything is okay. My testosterone was 300. Although I don't fully diagnose as low T, but it's pretty close to the low T zone, which is 250. My sex life and day activities are normal, but to continue a high-level BJJ game, it's almost mandatory as part of the sport. I queried fellow BJJ friends in their 30s and 40s. To my surprise, all in caps of them were on TRT and or HGH, deer antler velvet, or something. I pride myself on being 100% drug-free, but lately there's no way to keep up, and it's frustrating. Knowing you can do your best, but it's not good enough because your partner will always be stronger, faster, and more explosive than you. I'm thinking of starting a TRT program. Just to keep up with the guys in their 40s who are just animals on the mat. Here's the question. What are your thoughts on TRT, HGH, or performance enhancers in BJJ, especially competitive BJJ? How can you take BJJ athletes serious as they age into their 40s and still killing 20-year-olds in BJJ? Like you see in a South Florida gym with an athlete that rhymes with org.
I don't know if it really rhymes with org, but I get what it's saying.
So first one, what are your thoughts on TRT, HGH, or performance enhancers in BJJ, especially competitive BJJ?
So we were just talking about this at the gym the other night. All high-level athletes that there's money involved, all of them use some sort of performance-enhancing drug. There's just no two ways about it. And it's as much for being bigger, faster, stronger as it is for the recovery from those hard workouts. That's the biggest thing I believe that most performance-enhancing drugs give an athlete. If there's a huge amount of money involved, I completely get it. As long as like you're an adult, you're doing it safely under the supervision of a doctor, making sure that all of your other hormones are in check and in balance. Because if you ever watch Bigger, Faster, Stronger, the argument is that we've controlled women's hormones for years, but it's a big deal when we try to control men's hormones, right? So I think the issue is we have to realize at a certain point in our lives, we're no longer the kid in the room, and that our approach needs to be different, but we could still gain or garner the same outcome. None of us, for the most part, are as fast as we were when we were 25, right? If you're 40, you're just, that's the thing that you lose. Speed. You might be stronger as you age, because that's something that you get. And TRT will definitely help that, and growth hormone will help your strength. So I believe that there needs to be, in this case, maybe a shift in approach if you don't want to use the performance enhancing drugs, so that you can stifle or stop the advantages that your opponents have if it's a level of speed or explosiveness. So either do the TRT and continue down the path of using your athleticism and your jiu-jitsu, or realize, okay, I've lost some pieces, but I could still use some of my athleticism and change my jiu-jitsu approach to be able to garner the roles that I want to get. From a competitive standpoint, I think that you could do the same thing, but you can't, no jiu-jitsu athlete is the same at 25 as they are at 40.
Some are better.
Possibly.
Like athletes that rhyme with org.
Possibly.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It, like any competitive sport, performance enhancers are involved. And like this is a fascinating question to me, because this guy is sort of putting down people that are using it, and at the same time saying that he's thinking about using it.
Yes.
Which
So
is
he's conflicted.
Very strange.
But he's conflicted,
And
right?
he's conflicted. So like you said, you would never TRT is a form of medication.
Yeah.
So you would never be like, how can you take somebody serious when they're taking antidepressants just to compete? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like any other medications, like he takes a cholesterol medication, or he takes
the blood pressure medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I would tell this guy is why don't you do some research, and you can do a cost benefit analysis of what are the problems of low testosterone,
right,
and the problems and the benefit of taking testosterone, and see which one.
Right, but this also could be like, if he starts this TRT regimen, it might not change anything dramatically physically, but it could be like that antidepressant you're talking about, where it gives him the confidence back that maybe he's losing.
The other day when we were discussing it with someone, they were talking about the mental benefits of it, how he felt how they would feel mentally.
Yeah.
That it's like an antidepressant. So
yeah, it's just I think he's thinking about it like the way we all kind of grew up, is like steroids are bad drugs.
Evil,
right.
Yeah.
And you should also understand there's a big difference between, like, if you think about steroids, you usually think about like a bodybuilder.
Ronnie Coleman. Or
like those are guys that are, but you could also look at them as like sort of like encouraging, because those guys are abusing steroids for like 10, 15, 20 years of their life. And they,
And Ronnie Coleman's basically in a wheelchair.
Well, that's not from steroids. That's from
right.
like the style of training. But you can see like Like Dorian Yates, former Mr. Olympia, he's like, look, I abused steroids for 15 years straight. Like, I'm fine.
Gotcha.
And then this is another strange question. How can you take BJJ? So he's talking about Cyborg, who is, I think he just turned 40 and he's still like competing at the highest level.
Right.
How can you not take him seriously? He's like a perfect example of like, you can go into your 40s and still kill 20-year-olds who are also on steroids.
Right. And
So
does he
it's
look?
not-
I look at Cyborg's matches and I don't see a much different guy 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago now.
What do you mean?
Like in the sense of like his techniques, he's still, like
He's better now.
He's better now.
And I would assume he's on some form of TRT or something.
Yeah.
But so look at it this way. The guys the 20-year-olds he's competing against are also on TRT,
Yeah.
or they're on just T. They're not replacing anything. They're just enhancing.
Because he defeated Kanan Duarte, who got popped at Worlds.
And he defeated Hulk Bar, but he's defeated almost everybody recently.
But that's not just the TRT.
No, that's my point. Is that like you have two guys?
That's always the argument, right? You got to be able to hit the baseball. You can't just take the steroids and then think you're going to hit the baseball.
Right.
You have two guys on steroids.
You can't go on a pancake diet and take steroids.
And what it's doing is that the cool thing about martial arts, unlike a lot of like other sports, is that maybe not in so much of a competitive situation like a fight or a tournament. The older guys on the mat have so much more knowledge and like technique and timing and wisdom that's what makes them able to compete on the mat with the young guys. They might not have be in the same shape, but if you add that, so Cyborg's got 20 years of jiu-jitsu. Let's say Hulk Barbosa's got 10 years of jiu-jitsu. Cyborg's got way more knowledge, and then if he can take TRT to get himself closer to a 20-year-old, it just puts him that much more
right.
ahead of
And he can train. He could do a training camp as hard as Hulk Barbosa can do, with the extra 10 years of jiu-jitsu he's got in his pocket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so I don't understand how you cannot take him seriously. And this guy needs to.
He's gonna take TRT. I mean, this person's gonna.
So I think you need
super easy.
You need to stop thinking magically and face the reality of life. And you can, if you want to, you could feel better, or you can continue to be a sad, pathetic loser.
I'll tell you who it is
blame
after the podcast.
And blame your training partners for beating you. You can make an excuse and say, this is BJJ Bisasness.
Okay.
This is the epitome of it.
All right.
How did you feel rolling against people that you knew were clearly on, the juice, the sauce, the gear?
You can definitely feel a difference.
Yeah.
You can feel like it gives them like a little, like an extra gear is what I felt like. Like it.
I guess
that's
why some people call it gear, right?
They feel a little bit more intense. They're ready to go right away.
Yeah.
It's just
the one problem. It's just tough not knowing. Like it's tough not knowing. You think you're going into this match kind of equally in some kind of way,
fair.
And it's just like, well, whoa.
Right.
And I know the dumbest match I ever had with somebody who was clearly on steroids was we were at balance and he just pushed me against the wall, and that was it. Like because he couldn't do anything else. So he just pinned my hips against the wall, and I'm kind of semi-standing.
That's got nothing to do with steroids, though. That's
just saying that was his attitude. But I'm just saying that was I'm drawing that line between the two. Those two things were together. Like that he did. That's the only thing he could do, and I guess the gear helped him do that.
So the steroids aren't going to make your jiu-jitsu better.
Right. That's what I just said earlier, right before that.
So if this guy is good at jiu-jitsu, and he takes a little bit. You should definitely do it and then test yourself against these training partners, and then you'll see whether it was the TRT or your jiu-jitsu skills that is the problem.
Okay.
Last question.
Oh, we have another one. Great.
Tommy Rocks.
Yeah, this was a funny one.
How do you think it would go if MMA fights were held on a football field?
It would go terribly.
It'd be terrible.
Yeah.
People would not fight.
Yeah.
It'd be the worst fucking thing ever.
He asked what if MMA fights happened on a football field?
Well, like why?
It's just a fun question.
So it would give an advantage to the striker.
It would give an advantage to the sprinter.
Kind of like it gives you more room to move. There would be no fence to push somebody up against.
Oh,
okay.
But a wrestler could just keep shooting 50 yards.
There you go.
If he got a hold of your leg, run you over.
Just keep running.
Oh yeah.
It'd be much more interesting on a baseball field.
How about a cricket pitch?
I mean, kind of. All the dirt in your eye, like Stroker.
Yeah.
Like the Stroker.
Stroker,
That's
yeah.
what bothers me about
Hey,
the
what's
Stroker.
up with the Stroker?
April.
We're in?
April.
Am I in or did I get cut out of this
You're
whole
not
thing?
in. You're not in. You don't watch MMA. It's just me and
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Devin.
Stroker.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, you are.
We'll
It's
talk.
like the dirt going into the eyes thing is crazy. It's like
No, it's just
they
like
sure they don't want to move on past that.
I asked him about that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we have to stop the fights all the time to clean their eyes."
No, I see them pouring water. I'm like, bro, this is terrible.
Yeah.
how about on the roof? Let's just do it on the roof. Whoever
Yeah,
wins,
Just
yeah,
the
whoever
feeling
doesn't
of
die wins.
sand grinding against your skin
I
when it's
hate-
a little bit, it's terrible, bro.
And guys, if you send in a question in the chat, we'll get to it next week.
Peace.